Hey everybody! In today's video, I'm going to show you two really fun ways to use PanPastel with your gel press. It's unusual to be able to use a dry medium, but these two techniques are a lot of fun. So I have one of my gel press Impressables here. I love these shapes. And I have a little bit of matte medium. I like the more liquid matte medium like Liquitex for this technique, and I do use the matte, in case I didn't say that already. And I'm just rolling the gel medium right onto the Impressible. You probably think I'm crazy, but there is a method to my madness. You want a good coverage on here, but you don't want it goopy. So a little more than a skim coat. And then I'm going to take a previous gel print and just rub it all over the surface of that Impressible, just making sure I can get that pattern. So I'll pull that off, and I know it's clear, but you can see the pattern of the Impressible on the print. Now that it's dry, I'm going to take some PanPastels, and I'm going to keep my little brayering sheet with the gel medium here next to me. And I'm going to add some larger shapes in addition to the Impressible shape that I already have on here. I love incorporating large circles into my gel press prints. You've seen that a lot. It gives me a lot of room to frame either stamped images, or in my art journal, you'll see I'm going to use some postage stamps with this page. It's just a nice, easy design element for me to incorporate. And just in different sizes, having circles all over my work just kind of makes me happy. You can also, of course, turn them into things like the sun, etc. Now this print, I was using that Signal Orange paint that I love so much. I'll link you to that. But sometimes the prints with that can be a little bit bright, and so I wanted to use PanPastel to sort of tone that down. I have a stencil here just to sort of offset the softer shapes of the Impressible and the circles. I'm going to use this fun square stencil. And you can use a variety of tools to put your PanPastel on. They sell these soft sponges. I use my life-changing blender brushes. You can use traditional pastel brushes that have a flat tip. Those are real fun for blending. But I'm going to take just the soft sponge. And this is the red iron oxide color. And you can see already that that Impressible is resisting the PanPastel. So that was the purpose of the gel medium. I wanted to create that Impressible pattern in the background and be able to use the PanPastel on top of it with a stencil, but still have those sort of Moroccan elements show through the PanPastel. Now this is a fun look for gel press prints because you can make it pretty transparent. It has soft edges, so it has a softer quality than the paint that you're typically using. And I like combining the two just for a little bit of contrast. So I'll keep working with this, and you can see already how it's toned that orange down and made it just a warmer, earthier print. And there's quite a bit of PanPastel sitting up on top, and I'll blow some of that off. You can see how it sort of collects in the corners of the squares, and that's completely fine. And I will be outlining the Impressible pattern and the circles with just ink so that you can see that pattern stand out a little bit more, and you can see how it works sort of in and out of the squares, which I find kind of cool. It has like a almost an Escher look coming in and out of those other patterns. So here you can see I'm doing the resist again. I'm just going around this big circle that I created, and I'll go into some of these squares. But you can see how the gel medium resisted the PanPastel, and that is a very fun look to get texture with. Now I'm figuring out where the stencil went so that I can put some of those square details back that I just sort of smudged out, just to continue that pattern a little bit. And I know you're thinking, because I just wiped away a big portion of the pattern, you're thinking, well, you're wiping away a big portion of the pattern. What's going to happen when this print is finished? And I'll show you, because there's a fun gel press technique that will take care of all of that. Now you can see I'm coming around the edges of the impressible and picking up that pattern again, and then I have my large circle up here, and see how they sort of play together, these 3 layers of patterns. So I have the impressible resist, I have the little petites round resist, and I have the original texture for my print, and then I have the stencil on top of it. So it just makes for a more interesting print. And now I find the colors a lot more appealing. I still can see that beautiful signal orange that I love, but it's not so dominating. And I did want to add just a few little touches of the turquoise PanPastel, just a little bit for contrast. So there are just a couple cool spots in the overall print. Now you'll see there's a lot of powder again. Some of that will get pulled off in the last step. So be sure and make it really intense, because you are going to lose a little bit of it as you go to seal your work. But there's a very easy and fun way to seal it. And I'll show you the final result in my art journal when this is finished. So there, those patterns are working together, and I'm trying to just define them a little bit more since I'll be outlining them. And these soft, life-changing blender brushes work great for that. So I just shook off a little bit of the excess, but these are the colors that I like and that I want on my print. This soft pastel brush with a flat tip, I'm trying to work a little bit of that blue into the paint so that it will be preserved in the final step. Not all of it will, but this way at least some of it will grab to the paper. And now that's good. I'm going to move everything out of the way, and I'll get my last little bits of powder off just by tapping. But I can still see everything that I liked with the PanPastel. I'll bring back in my this is actually an inking sheet that we used in Santa Fe at a monoprinting class that I took. And it's great for a lot of different purposes. There's actually something I use it for in watercolor as well. But it's great if you just want a brayering surface that's going to sort of keep your paint, or in this case, your gel medium, sort of moist on a non-porous surface. And that's what I use it for. So I'll add a little bit more. And I have one of my larger gel presses set up. Since this is a full 8.5 by 11 print, I need my large gel press to be able to seal it. And I'm just putting the gel medium all over, again, a decent coat on here, but not goopy, all over the entire plate. And then I'm just going to take my print with the PanPastel on top, and I will seal it without disturbing the pattern by just laying it down and pulling a clear layer of gel medium on top of that PanPastel. So this is a great way to be able to use PanPastel with real intricate stencils and not lose the pattern when you go to seal. I have asthma, so I don't like to spray things. I don't like to have anything airborne that might get in my lungs. But you can see from this shiny surface that it's completely coated. And once it's dry, it'll stay exactly like it is. So here's the 2-page spread in my art journal that I use this piece for. And here's a card that I just freehanded a PanPastel scene and then sealed using the same method. Thanks so much for watching.